Hey guys, so I'm going to actually do the sponge because it leads us right into our learning target for this video. Okay, we got y equals mx plus b. Our m is negative 3/4. The negative tells us we're going to go down, and the 4 we're always going to go to the right. Guys, I really can't emphasize enough writing these directional words in your slope, next to your slope fraction, because it tells you, it's like a foolproof way of writing and making the correct dots and going the correct direction. Okay, my y-intercept is my 2. In coordinate pair form, it's 0, 2. When I go down to graph, that means I'm going to start on the y value of 2, and then I'm going to follow exactly what this says. Down 3, right 4. So starting at that dot, I'll go down 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left and put a dot. Then start here and do the same thing. Down 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left. Okay? Now I can follow that pattern backwards to get more dots. Up 3. And 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left. Up 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left. Okay. Then I have all the dots that I need. Arrows on each end. Y equals negative 3/4 x plus 2. Okay. So guys, today my objective is to lead you backwards through this process. Instead of giving you an equation, you pull out the slope and pull out the y-intercept and then use it to graph. I'm going to give you the graph, minus the label of course. I'm going to give you the graph. You're going to figure out the slope. You're going to find the y-intercept, and then you're going to plug these numbers in. You're going to sub in the m value and sub in the b value. Okay, so my learning target is for you to write the equation for a linear equation by looking at the graph. That doesn't make any sense. Oh well. Okay, how do you do this? Well, first you have to find the slope. Remember from the other day, slope is rise over run in a graph. Okay? And then you have to find the y-intercept. That's the b. We use the letter b and yi interchangeably. Okay? Finally, once we know those things, we sub them into y equals mx plus b. So once I know m, I write that instead of m. Once I know b, I write that instead of b. Okay? Okay, I'm going to use these two examples for the video from the notes. Okay, let me move this over to here. Okay, so I'm going to blow this up a little bigger so it's easier for you to see at home. Okay, when I am doing, first thing I want to find is my m, my slope. And remember that's rise over run. Alright, we did this the other day. Okay, lesson 3.2. We pick any two dots we want and trace the grid lines to make a triangle. Now it's easiest if you pick two dots right in a row, although I could make a bigger triangle and connect dots that are further apart, but then I'm going to have to simplify. Okay, this way I may not have to simplify. You might not. Okay, so anyway, this is one box side to side and 3 boxes up and down. Okay, well remember that m equals rise over run. 3 is my rise and 1 is my run. Alright, I also need to decide whether this is a positive 3 over 1 or a negative 3 over 1, which a lot of kids struggle with. So I'm going to give you a little strategy. When you're trying to decide, you can take your pen or your pencil and drag it right across the graph like I'm doing with this red line until you hit the graph and then pause. Okay. Okay? Right now, way down here at the bottom, I see the black line is touching the red line. As I move across, now the black line is touching the red line higher and higher and higher and higher. Okay, so the black line is moving up the red line. That indicates for us a positive slope. It's running uphill. Okay, so my M is positive 3 over 1. We can just write that as 3. My B, super easy to see. Guys, blink if you're going to blink and you're going to miss it. See this dot right here that's right on the y-axis? It's at the number -2. So my B is -2. In coordinate form, I'd write 0, -2. So now I'm going to sub in y equals, my M was 3, then x, and then it's -2, not a +2, because we crossed at a -2. Okay? Let's look at our other picture on this page. Okay? Now, first thing I'm noticing is that if I take my red line across, it's starting high, and then eventually the black line is going down the red line. This is a downhill line. Okay? Therefore, my slope, when I get down here to M, I know it's going to be negative. So I'll draw negative, I'll draw my fraction bar. Let's go back up and figure out what the slope is. Okay, let's say I connect this dot to this dot. Okay, 2 and 5. Okay, so my rise is 2. That's how many boxes up and down I went. My run, how many boxes side to side, is 5. So when I sub in, my rise was 2, my run was 5. All right, how about the B? What was the B? Let's go back up and look at that. Okay, my B, it's this dot right here. It's the dot that's right on the y-axis, and it's on the number 3. That's my y-intercept, and it's at +3. So now when I write my equation, y equals -2/5 x plus 3. Okay, so that's how you're doing these. Now, there's some special circumstances I want to talk about. Some of your homework problems will have horizontal and vertical lines. And I want to give you this little memory device to help you remember what you're supposed to do with horizontal and vertical lines and what they mean. And so you can see in blue here I have the letters H, A, Z, and Y. It spells the word hazy. Now A doesn't stand for anything. I just needed an A to make it not say hizzy. So it's hazy. And that's talking about horizontal lines. So if I draw a horizontal line on my graph, okay, let me just pick a spot and draw one. Okay, draw a horizontal line. Okay, what hazy is going to help me remember is that a horizontal line has a 0 slope. So my M would be 0. My B, or my YI, okay, would be 4. 1, 2, 3. I know you can't see the numbers. They're covered up a little. 4. So if I go to write y equals mx plus b, I get y equals 0x plus 4. And that's all fine and good, except that, let me blow this up a little bit. 0 times anything is 0. Doesn't even matter what x is. Okay, it's special just for 0. So y actually would equal 0 plus 4. Well, I can actually add that together. So y, this simplifies to y equals 4. And see how in hazy, the y of hazy is to remind you that the equation of a horizontal line is y equaling the number where it crosses. So I would label this line as y equals 4. If I drew another line, let me do one in another color here. If I drew another line right here, it's horizontal, okay? Y would be equal to the number it crosses at, 7. Just 7, no x, nothing else, just the 7. Okay, because the slope is 0 and that cancels itself out. If I drew another line down here, okay, it's a horizontal line, so it's just y equals, what number did it cross at? I know you can't see it, but trust me, it's -5. Okay, so that's horizontal lines. Let's talk about vertical lines. Well, I'm going to have to get to it. There we go. Or fit height. There we go. That's a little better. Okay, so let's talk about vertical. If I draw a vertical line, what vixen is, vixen, not just a reindeer anymore. Vixen is to help you remember that vertical lines are x equaling a number. Huh, why does that happen? Okay, well the n, I had to fudge this a little, okay, so n is in undefined, but it doesn't start undefined. Undefined slope, so on my homework I would write for m undefined. Some teachers also say no slope. Either one of those is correct. I tend to use the word undefined because then you're not as likely to mix no slope up with 0 slope because they sound too similar to me. Okay? But either one is fine. Alright, so that's my m. I'm already having trouble thinking how I would write y equals mx plus b if my m isn't even a number. And I can't put 0. At least 0 is a number. I could have put that in, but I can't put the word undefined in the middle of a math problem. B, well, there's problem number 2. This blue line does not cross the y-axis at all, ever. There's no y-intercept. It does not cross the y-axis. So, guys, we don't write y equals anything because we can't. There's no values for us to sub in at all. So the x in vixen is to help us know that what we're actually going to label this line as is x equals 2. Just go to the number that it crosses and put the 2 there. Nothing else. No y, no plus or minus, just x equals 2. That's it. Okay, let's do this in another color. All right. Let's say I saw a vertical line here. All right, it's a vertical line, vixen for vertical. That means it's x equals a number. What number is it? -7. So if you see that on your homework, that's what you would write for the equation. X equals whatever the number is. For the M, you'd write undefined or no slope. For B, you would write none. Doesn't cross the y-axis. You don't have to write out the does not cross the y-axis part, but you have to write none. Okay, so if we were doing a homework problem, just so you're aware, the whole front side of your homework is more practice doing the graphing, which is 3-3 day 1 kind of lesson stuff. But the back of your homework is where we're doing what I was just describing. Alright, so it says write the equation of each line. Alright, so the order in which you're going to do this, this is really fuzzy and I'm sorry, it does not blow up well. If I was doing a homework problem, and I gotta make it so I can write here. The y equals part I'm doing very last. I'm gonna do M first. Okay, so connect a couple of dots. 2 across and 1 up and down. So the up down number goes on top, the side to side number goes on the bottom, rise over run, and it's an uphill line, so that's positive. My y-intercept is -3, so now I can write my equation. Y equals 1/2 x minus 3. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend. See you next time.